Have you ever felt like everything was going perfectly in your relationship, only to feel it crumble in ways you never saw coming? Like a house collapsing without warning, even though everything looked solid on the surface? Today, we're going to talk about the one mistake that has ruined more relationships than you can imagine. This mistake is silent, sneaky, and devastating. Most people don't even realize they're making it until it's too late. But here's the good news. Once you understand this mistake, you can avoid it and even save your relationship from breaking apart. So stick around, because what you're about to learn could change everything. In every relationship, there are little moments that seem insignificant at first: an unspoken hurt, a misinterpreted comment, a feeling brushed aside. At the time, it feels easier to ignore it, let it slide, or keep quiet. But relationships don't break because of one dramatic event. They break because of countless small cracks that grow over time. The problem is, many couples don't notice these cracks until they're standing in front of a shattered mirror, wondering what went wrong. Think about it. How often have you avoided saying how you really feel because you didn't want to start an argument? Or how often have you assumed your partner should just know what's on your mind without saying a word? These tiny choices, repeated over time, can quietly sabotage even the strongest of relationships. And here it is, the single biggest mistake that ruins relationships forever: lack of communication. When we stop communicating openly, we unintentionally create distance between ourselves and our partner. We start assuming, we start guessing, and most dangerously, we start bottling up emotions. Over time, this lack of communication turns into resentment, frustration, and even mistrust. A study by psychologist John Gottman, who has spent decades researching relationships, found that 65% of failed marriages cited poor communication as the primary reason for their breakdown. It's that serious. Imagine this. One partner feels neglected because their needs aren't being met, but they don't express it. The other partner, unaware of this, continues their behavior. Slowly, the first partner starts to feel unloved, and the second partner feels confused by the growing tension. And just like that, two people who love each other become strangers. This mistake doesn't just ruin the relationship, it ruins the connection, the trust, and the love that brought you together in the first place. When communication breaks down, the relationship suffers on every level. Here's what happens. What starts as a simple miscommunication turns into a mountain of unspoken frustration. Small issues, left unresolved, become major sources of bitterness. When partners stop sharing their thoughts and feelings, they drift apart emotionally. Picture this. Sarah and Jake were once inseparable, but over time, Sarah started feeling unappreciated. She wanted Jake to notice her efforts, but she never told him directly. Jake, on the other hand, felt overwhelmed at work and wished Sarah would understand his stress, but he kept it to himself. As months went by, their once loving relationship became a series of silent dinners and tense arguments. They still loved each other, but the lack of communication had driven a wedge between them that they didn't know how to fix. So how do you avoid making this mistake, or fix it if it's already happened? First, start small. Set aside time each week for open, honest conversations. This doesn't mean pointing fingers or assigning blame. It means sharing your feelings and listening to your partners. Second, practice active listening. Don't just hear the words your partner is saying. Try to understand the emotions behind them. Repeat back what you've heard to make sure you're on the same page. And finally, don't wait for the perfect moment to talk. Address issues as they arise before they have a chance to fester. Here's the truth: no relationship is perfect, and mistakes will happen. But if you're willing to communicate openly and honestly, you can repair even the deepest cracks and build a bond that's stronger than ever. Remember, the key to a lasting relationship isn't perfection, it's connection. And connection starts with communication.